Good evening, welcome all of you. This evening's topic for discussion is on reading Sri Aurobindo's writings. Great topic. It is a great selection, great interest from you. Many times you can't imagine how many times people keep asking how to read Sri Aurobindo. Of course, I have the idea. Really, people don't try to read Sri Aurobindo because mother has quoted, who can understand Sri Aurobindo? He is as vast as the universe. His teachings are limitless. So the limitless teachings, it has to be read with all limitations from the earthbound mind. How is it possible to mock, to remember, to recite, to remember? It is very difficult, not at all possible, I think. And again, mother has quoted, only way to know Sri Aurobindo is to read and read and read three times. The same term, read, same verb has been repeated for thrice. Only way to know Sri Aurobindo is to read and read and read. On the same occasion, I also repeat from of my own. Only way to know mother is to read and read and read. Superficially, externally, outwardly, we are reading something. Maybe the translated literatures or somebody what he has understood and what he has written in his own copybook. That is also possible. People have learned something, they have just understood something, and they try to quote. They feel we know we Sri Aurobindo, we have read the Sri Aurobindo. But thing is that most of the time, while we feel people are not that much efficient, not that much prepared. They don't know original English literature, and this is the supramental literature. I will tell. This is the supramental literature. It has been descended from the supramental level by Sri Aurobindo, through him, by him, on him, of him. So how can the man who is not at all knowing English even, so how he can be able to know Sri Aurobindo and read it and moreover understand it? Very difficult. Still then we try to copy, imitate, and we discuss everything of our own, what really we have understood, not the thing what Sri Aurobindo has taught us, and what is the gist of the understanding, gist is what has been written by Sri Aurobindo. Anyway, we'll try to quote a few lines from mother's writing, how mother advises us to read Sri Aurobindo and Sri Aurobindo's writings. We'll try to quote few lines. Already we know, I will try to quote it before going for mother's explanation. Francis Bacon, he has given the very how to read the great literatures. Some books are to be read, some to be digested, some to be chewed, some to be digested. So Francis Bacon, he is having the nice observation, nice view on reading, on our study. Some books to be read, some to be chewed, you have to chew, and some to be digested. But thing is that here supramental literatures of Sri Aurobindo, it is far above all these concepts. This is not to be read but to be realized. This is, this is not a love novel. This is not a story. It is finally the scripts of transformation, the guide, the true light, the truth. It embodies the entire truth. Actually, this is the writings of the future. I don't know when the future will commence and when it will come. Anyway, we are going to quote few lines from the mother, how to read Sri Aurobindo's writings. In a general and almost absolute way, if you truly wish to profit from these writings, if you want to profit from these writings as from all of Sri Aurobindo's writings, the best method in this, having gathered your consciousness and focused your attention on what you are reading, very interesting. Really, if you want to be benefited, if you want to learn, if you have the idea of realization, if you want to really do the yoga, If you want to know the path, then what you have to do? The very first advice by the mother: gather your consciousness. Number one, gather your consciousness. It is falling here and there, and focus to your attention on what you are reading. Focus your attention on what you are reading. Gather your consciousness. You must establish a minimum of mental tranquility. Very interesting how and when and which way we are going to read. You establish a minimum of mental tranquility. The best thing would be to obtain perfect silence. Very interesting. You imagine what sort of probe her mother is using. Number one, gathered your consciousness. Second thing, focus your attention on what you are reading. Then establish minimum of mental tranquility. Later, the best thing to be done to obtain the perfect silence. So ordinarily, haphazardly, you don't go through. You must have the perfect silence and achieve a study, a state of immobility of the mind, tranquility, immobility of mind, immobility of the brain. That is the most essential condition for reading Sri Aurobindo. Already Sri Aurobindo, I'll try to quote it again and again. If really you want to be benefited, if you want to be spiritualized, if you really need the guidance for the spiritual tradings, if you want to progress in this sadhana path of sadhana, definitely very beginning mother's course. First of all, you have to gather your consciousness. Second, focus your attention on whatever you are reading. Third, establish a minimum of mental mental tranquility. Against your mother course, the best thing would be to obtain perfect silence. Then and will and achieve a state of immobility of the mind, immobility of the brain, immobility of the mind, immobility of the brain. Entire thing must be concentrated, focused, silenced, and it must be attuned. That is what the very minimum requirement. Then mother quotes, I might say, so that the attention becomes all as still and immobile as a mirror. Very best comparison, the best image mother has quoted. With this tranquility, immobility, focused consciousness, gathering of consciousness, well, then what happens? Attention becomes as still and immobile as a mirror. Attention becomes as still and immobile as a mirror, like the surface of absolutely still water. Surface of absolutely still mirror, still water, or immobile as a mirror. That is the required condition. That is what is required. And when we mother defines on how to engage in a study center, most of the times, especially in Odisha or people who belongs and they make the study circle, they know how to read Sri Aurobido's literature. So her mother quotes a few minutes silence, very essential, very essential condition. A few minutes silence, then this period of silence must not be elongated, must not be a big one, because for few seconds or few minutes you stay in concentration, then you roam here and there, your mind moves here and there. Second, chanting something that elevates your consciousness. Third, make ready, make prepared through the hymns, the stutras, and further read original Sri Aurobindo's and the mother's literature, the literature which they have originally written, not the translated version. Again, read as little as it is possible and try to don't focus or stress more upon understanding, because understanding Sri Aurobindo is not at all possible for the human mind. With the elevation of consciousness, with the evolution of consciousness, things gets enlarged in you, you become enlarged, then only you become prepared to know the things. Then what one has to read, passes through the surface and penetrates deep into the being. If this condition is achieved, there's no ask one question to somebody present among you, within you, who really knows, not more, not less. Be silent, be tranquil, be concentrated, be meditative. These are the conditions you must try. You must try to maintain before learning, before going to for study circle and understanding or reading Sri Aurobindo. First of all, you be prepared in your inner being, not in the outer part or in the superficially, but be prepared to read in, go penetrate deep within, be silent, be tranquil. That is the essential condition. Penetrate deep into the being where it is received with a minimum of distortion. Means it will penetrate without distortion, without even minimum of distortion. That is what distortion. That is what required, because most of the thing we read but we don't know, in haphazardly we read, we don't take gather anything into ourselves, nothing penetrates us, we are simply things, we see things, we find things falling apart here and there. That is not the condition. So you must be prepared, you must be well alert before reading Sri Aurobindo. Afterwards, mother course, sometimes long afterwards, then hyphen mother quotes, long afterwards it wells up again from the depths, because it has penetrated, gone into depths. After some time, long afterward, it actually emerges, it wells up again from the depths and manifests in the brain. It wells up from the depths and manifests in the brain, with its full power of comprehension. That is what, if it is happening really, we make it penetrate into the depths, and after long afterwards, it will emerge well up from depth and it will manifest in the brain. Then what happens, with all its full power of comprehension, not as the knowledge acquired from outside, but as a light one carried within. It is not as a knowledge that we focus upon and we concentrate and we feel we have gained, we have gathered knowledge, we have gained, we know something, nothing like this. It is something not from outside even. This is not the knowledge from outside, but a light one carried within. That is what must be required if you find the glimpse. If you know, already I have quoted, Sri Aurobindo's writing is something like a supramental journey. Most of the studious people who are research person or researchers, they find Shakespeare's writings is a spiritual journey. So not much have been explored by those people to see in those literary world, literary universe. Not much have been explored because nobody really understands what Sri Aurobindo tries to say. And of course, they don't have that efficacy, that efficiency there. So almost they stay on the surface. Here, Mother quotes that it must be a light one carried within, that will be a guiding light, an aiding light, aiding force. And it is in this way, the faculty of understanding, as it is it's the highest. If this is you have acquired, you have maintained, you, of course you have created the conditions, you have followed the conditions, and it has penetrated and then welled up and manifests in the brain. Then actually the understanding comes, the light really it comes, and the understanding, you understand the highest. Where if while you read, the mind remains agitated, tries to understand at once what it is reading. Normally, what we do see, what we do, mind tries to understand. There is a very big tussle we have to understand. You lose more and more three-quarters of the force. This original force, by whenever we try, we struggle to understand, then three-fourths of the power force actually it vanishes. You are lost. The knowledge and the truth contained in the words, knowledge and the truth contained in the words, three-fourths of them are lost when we struggle, we try, we actually war to rather war we battle to understand only three fourths of this knowledge, and these words they get lost. And if you are able to refrain from asking questions, that's what normally what we do. Simply, if you refrain from asking questions until this possesses the absorption and inner awakening is completed, well, then you will find that you have fewer questions to ask. It means if that is observed, well understood, if you have got the glimpse, you have got the preparation, if you are meditative, you have not struggled with this knowledge has been, this light has been manifested, you know, in you, then you will find there is a fewer question or no question, because the master of existence lurks in us. So he teaches, he tries to accomplish, he tries to guide. So to ask, because you will have a better understanding of what you have read. For that, actually, that the big preparation is essential. Preparation means that you are not going to struggle or even to fight a big war outside. But the thing is that you have to make yourself immobile. You have to tranquil your mind. You have to be meditative. You have to learn everything of your own. You must gain the better power of concentration. Everything must be in depth, nothing superficial. So it will manifest in the brain. Then only this spiritual journey can be accomplished through the inner truth, inner guidance, and it is possible to know Sri Aurobindo. And if we can be able to understand something by outward pressure or struggle, then this power is lost. If mother is coming to explain, if the original literature Sri Aurobindo is coming to explain and guide, enlighten, then your problem is solved. You are getting the moving, inching forward towards the true wisdom, true knowledge, how Sri Aurobindo has quoted before you. That is very essential, most fabulous topic, very interesting topic, no doubt of it. I think it will be very much interesting for you and helpful in your spiritual and sacramental journey. Vande Mataram.